What's up, guys? I'm Chad Barnes, and welcome to the channel. Here, it's all about real car talk, from simple fixes to smart driving tips and keeping your ride in top shape. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you watch all the way through. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Let's get to it.
Technical history. Camry in the 1550 body is formally the fifth generation of Camry, but if to count by bodies, among which there are not only 15 series, but also V, then to 1550 this car managed to try on 7 bodies, and 1550 became the 8th. Besides, to understand the Japanese nomenclature hinders also numerous names of body modifications such as Solara, Coupe, Avalon, Wyndham or Gracia. Therefore, let me skip the history of the whole glorious Camry family, which began in 1982, and let me go straight to the 1550 body. So, the start of production of Camry 1550 began in 2011. The previous generation 1540 was very successful in Russia, which at the initial stage significantly influenced the popularity of the next generation. The more that technically the cars were quite close, the good old Aisin U241 4-step-in box was paired with the same old 2-liter Motor 1 AZ FE, which stood not only on the previous 1540, but also on the even older 1530, and only with newer 2.5-liter motors. 2AR FE, 181 horsepower, and 3.5-liter motors, 2AR FE, 181 horsepower. HP, and 3.5 liters, 2GR FE, 249 horsepower. In the Russian market, there was a modern, at that time, 6-speed Aisin U660 U760. In a word, fans of Japanese classics could not fail to appreciate such a car. But the design of this generation has become more strict. If many people looked at the interior of 1540 with astonishment and did not understand how it was possible to allow such a combination of shapes and colors, Camry 1550 became much more restrained, stricter and more serious. At the same time, Camry remained a spacious and solid car, which was appreciated in Russia no less than in America, where Toyota had high hopes for this car. However, the completions were offered to Americans differently. For example, in the USA it was possible to buy a hybrid 1550 with an electric motor and 2.5-liter 2AR FXE. In addition, the 2GR FE engine produced 268 horsepower that did not strive to meet the pre-tax 249 horsepower. In Japan, Camry 1550 were only hybrid. Well, in our country hybrids were not officially, and our people could buy from the dealer only purely gasoline cars. The layout of this generation is traditional. The motor is located across, the drive is only front, simple suspensions McPherson. There is nothing unusual, and it is good. Since November 2011, the 1550 began to be produced in Russia, at the plant in Shushri. However, the two most expensive top versions were not made in our country, but were brought from Japan. In 2014 and 2017, the 1550 went through restyling, and after the second restyling it was called 1555. Well, and in 2018 it was replaced by a new generation Camry. So what else was 1550 good? And what was it bad? Let's read the owner's opinions. All owners note very quiet interior and absence of engine noise in it. However, some pathos comrades who moved to Camry from expensive Germans cannot resist comments like noise insulation is not very good, to put it mildly. In comparison with Merin, it is simply absent there. However, such reviews are very few, and the majority are almost satisfied with everything. But it is very annoying that on the road you can hear the noise of wheels very well. Advice, of course, not too diverse. On noise insulation, it is necessary to add noise insulation of wheel arches, because you can hear the road at speeds above 100. I have on winter Dunlop can hear the sound, so choose the right rubber. I should add that those who at one time when buying a new car did not spare money in the car dealership for normal undefenders, suffer from road noise much less often. Here too, everything is simple. Camry, as well as any other Toyota, not only is not in a hurry to lose price on the secondary market, but is in high demand. It can always be sold easily, quickly and expensively. There will be only one quote, because all the others would be just as boring and obvious. It loses a little in price. The car is easy to sell. The downside of high liquidity is a huge demand from criminal guys and officials, but they first steal money and only then buy Camry with it. To steal a Camry is a holy thing. And it is easy to sell then, and the process itself is so simple. And dealers are only happy about it, because they offered both alarm systems and hull insurance and everything at once. However, many sadly reported, "I will not write about hull insurance, there is a cosmos there." Of course, we are talking about the cost of the policy. More advanced Toyota drivers solved the issue in a more original way. I installed several different alarm systems, inexpensive and available on the market. It cost me 50,000 rubles. I will open only one. It is Blagbag 85, bought for 22,000. Put myself alarm systems, 3 active, i.e. electronic, 1 mechanical, 1 passive, activated when the owner wants. A bunch of alarms is good, but even primitive by the standards of the class Toyota electronics could not always digest the crooked installation of a large number of these devices, which did not so much guarantee peace of mind to the owner, but brought headaches from dead batteries and glitches in the car's electrics. However, it's still better than looking out the window 3 times a night and wondering if some bandits have stolen this car yet. There are a lot of tips on protection. I still recommend to put metal protection on the brains and must move the standard immobilizer from the rear right wing. These 2 things will seriously complicate the hijacker's business. Casco is mandatory. I strongly recommend, otherwise you can stay without a car. With Casco without a car, of course, you can also stay without a car, but the insurance will heal the broken heart at least some payment. So there is a sense in it, especially for Camry. It is strange, of course, but one tendency is evident in reviews about Camry: drivers are almost indifferent to it. Well, it somehow drives. With 3.5-liter engine even can accelerate. Everything seems to be comfortable. In general, it will go, but will not cause delight. The rear seats are another matter. Almost everyone is delighted with them. They write about it a lot and with obvious pleasure. All seats are heated, perforated leather, but not ventilated. In the back there is a control unit for music, air conditioning, rear window curtain, tilt of seat backs. In long trips, more than 1,000 kilometers, especially with children, went twice to the Crimea, quite pleasant. Inside is a lot of space. My wife, sitting in the back with a child, still cannot get used to the fact that there is no cardanic bump, which was in Tina. There is noticeably more space in the back. Backs of rear seats are electrically adjustable in inclination, which is very comfortable. In rich complete sets in the back is even more interesting. The rear armrest is equipped with a function of climate control, too. Heated seats, seat backs adjustment and audio system. All this is for rear passengers. There is really more space for them. Toyota Camry 1550 2011 to 2017. I will make only a small remark. In the top, where there is an adjustment of backrests of the sofa. This backrest cannot be tilted for transportation of large-size cargoes. Though something narrow but long can be transported, there is a hatch for this purpose. Well, and for the sake of justice I will still bring such quotation: the organization of driver's place is especially pleasant, very convenient arrangement of armrests, inflatable cushion in a lumbar region, steering column with memory, automatic retraction at switching off the engine. So Camry has everything in order with comfort, though to Mercedes E-Class it certainly does not reach much. And some people are also indignant about finishing materials. They say that even in the previous 1540 the interior was more enduring. Toyota Camry 1550 2011 to 2017. The dynamics of cars with junior motors upset all owners of Camry. As only it is not called. And a bucket for pensioners, an 80-year-old grandfather, and something else which in a decent society do not say aloud. Only a small part of Toyota Vodaf, who consciously chose 1550 with 2-liter engine and old box, only in favor of reliability, are ready to put up with the fact that their car does not set speed records. The rest only roll their eyes to the sky at the point, drive, passion, and a good rousing ride you won't get on it. The Camry with a 3.5-liter engine is another matter. In addition to good power, there is a more up-to-date box, a 6-speed gearbox, as it were. But only many people are dissatisfied with this box. It turned out to be very thoughtful, and even 3.5-liter Camry did not become a sports bolide. Although, of course, its 210 km per hour on the highway goes correctly. True, some people say that it goes well, but not for a long time. And not because of the fact that the box is difficult to digest the torque of the engine, but because of the wild temperament of drivers of such cars. To the logic of the work of this automatic transmission is also a lot of claims. Usually their essence boils down to the following: it is reliable, good, but you press the pedal to the floor. Seconds 1.5 pause. Then only a shot at kick down the box slows down, but I have already got used to it and pressed the gas a little in advance. In general, it thinks for a long time. Those who drive calmly are satisfied with 3.5-liter cars. Some are satisfied with cars with weaker motors, but there are very few such phlegmatic people on the internet. Honestly, I did not expect that so many 1550 owners will praise the passability of their car. Passability, of course, in quotes, it is better not to go off the road on it, but for the city it is quite enough. They usually write like this: the clearance is enough not to cling the bottom bumps of the Moscow region. It has the highest clearance in the class, 160 mm. If someone clings to curbs, he usually does it with the skirt of the front bumper. Toyota Camry 1550 2011 to 2017. It's funny that those who move to the Camry from some rear-wheel drive W211 very often spit, but they say that it became much easier to drive in winter. The Japanese car does not get stuck like the German one. True, it doesn't work so well with anti-buck system, but somehow this fact doesn't change the picture significantly. There is nothing to talk about for a long time. The paintwork layer is both fragile and thin. Hoods suffer the most, and almost all of them are repainted and often under warranty. There are also chips on the roof edges, but the hood suffers much more. Let's give a word to the owners. In the first winter I found a swelling on the hood near the chrome molding. The car is not a year old. I went to the dealer and they said they will paint the hood. I said, let's clean it locally and paint it with a transition. No, it's not allowed. I said I'd think about it. Came home, went to the forums, and there. Every other one. And another disadvantage is that the hood has shattered, and the bodybuilders say, like, don't drive 200 plus, pebbles split in accordance with the speed. Sometimes they write that the paint can be scratched not only by outerwear, but also by the breeze from this very clothing. And not only on the hood, and anywhere on the trunk lid immediately flew off a piece of paint. We make a conclusion: repainted hood of 1550 is not a sign of road accident, but a consequence of offensive feature of the car. And if you do not want to repaint the hood again, it makes sense to cover it with a film. And it is better to cover front wings too. Let's give one quote, and then reveal its deep meaning: the car is for those who know how to count a penny, taking into account unscheduled service visits, minimal loss in money at sale, as well as liquidity on the secondary market. In essence, everything is told correctly. From the economic point of view, 1550 is an almost ideal automobile. Firstly, it does not require money for repair. If to follow it well, it will not break down, it is a fact. Only a KP6 with the most powerful engine is in the risk zone, but even there it dies usually only at races. So you won't have to spend money on Camry repair all the time. Secondly, routine maintenance here is much cheaper than in the case of competitors in the face of Germans respected by many, including me. And due to the fact that technically Camry is very simple, there is no need to constantly go to the dealer. Any competent mechanic can cope with maintenance and will not even charge a lot of money for it. Thirdly, I repeat once again, this car is getting cheaper slowly, but it is in great demand. So, if anything, it can be sold quickly and profitably. I think there is nothing more to say. Practical people like Camry for a reason. It has only one disadvantage: if you press on the gas pedal, the consumption is quite significant. With a motor of 3.5 liters in the city, it is quite possible to burn up to 20 liters per 100 kilometers, but if you do not build yourself a racer sportsman, the consumption will be within the norm by the standards of this class. And here, alas, everything is bad. Literally in 3 quotations, the whole essence of Camry is stated: controllability is not good. The automobile is wobbly, the car yours at overtaking, the steering wheel it is necessary to hold as a bridle of a zealous horse. Unpleasant and not respectable, does not go. It doesn't steer. Does not brake. Alas. It is especially frustrating that it is difficult not only to accelerate, but also to drive then at high speed, and to stop at the end of the road. If you like aggressive driving and refined controllability, Camry will not suit you exactly. Well, I agree. Drag the first award for banality. I am ready to accept it with gratitude. But is it possible to put something else at the top of the list of reasons to love the Camry if everyone writes something like this? 285,000, 2012 changed only pads and oil. Toyota Camry mockingly refuses to break down, oil still does not eat a drop, suspension does not knock, crickets in the cabin is not, if I had not done everything that I do with it and on it, I would never believe that. You can drive so cheerfully without a single breakdown 100,000 kilometers on our roads. Regarding the last comment, many people wrote that, say, 100,000 not an indicator, they and grantor will pass. It is, of course, so, but the previous owner just above called 285,000 and some owners consider a burned-out bulb of the dipped beam as a serious breakdown. I'll tell you more, one of my friends drives a 2015 Camry. And he once asked me, does it ever break down? Despite mileage well over 200,000, the car has never let him down. But he had to repaint the hood, that's a fact. However, my friend is a practical man and the car suits him completely. Especially if he manages to accelerate it and even overtake someone. In conclusion, the Toyota Camry 1550 presents a compelling choice for many drivers, thanks to its reliability, comfort, and strong resale value. However, potential buyers should also consider its higher price point, average fuel efficiency, and somewhat conservative styling. Ultimately, whether to buy or not to buy the Camry 1550 depends on your personal preferences and priorities. Weighing these 5 reasons will help you make an informed decision that best suits your needs. Thank you for watching, and we hope this guide has been helpful in your car buying journey.